Hi, everyone. Welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. I'm here with Jessica. We met in the BC Women's Association group, and it's just a beautiful group filled with beautiful souls. But I'm super happy that you're here, Jessica. Please tell everyone how it is that you shed your light in the world.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. I've been just newly a part of your One Conscious Love Network, and I'm already like getting so, excited about all these events that you have coming up. So that's fantastic. Um, so yeah, the way that I share my light is that I have a clinic in Vancouver where I help people to make changes in their life, right? I'm a hypnotist and a human behavior specialist, and really at the end of the day, what I'm doing is I'm having people go, "Wow, I didn't even know that that was possible for me." And it's a pretty cool thing to have somebody walk in here one day feeling like, they don't trust themselves, or they're self-doubting, or they're sabotaging in some way. They're doing some harmful habit to themselves that's getting in the way of them feeling like they're living their most, authentic self, or they have something to give, to share their love with other people, right? It gets in the way of relationships. It gets in the way of, the way that they're raising their kids and all of it. So with hypnosis, they're able to change their experience of what's happening for them in life so that they can take action in a new way. And it's like, it's this beautiful ripple effect, right? Because as soon as you are healed up and as soon as you have what you need, then you can go ahead and focus, okay, what can I give to the world? So I feel like that's kind of, I'm so blessed that I get to do that every single day for,
Mm.
so many people, and not even just in Vancouver. I was just saying right before we started this call that I have the benefit of seeing people in clinic and in my office here in Fairview, but also online. So I do have people who are, in Germany or in like, in Toronto or on the island or, wherever they are. So yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hypnosis, I think most people associate that with the guy on stage at the magic show that makes people, bark like a dog and quack like a duck. So do you want to maybe explain a little
Yeah.
bit what you
It's
mean by
true,
that?
right? When I first meet people, every time they find out that I'm a hypnotist, this is their first reaction. Oh, I'm not going to look you in the eyes. Oh, and they look away. They literally like will avert their gaze because
Totally.
they're used to seeing, either that image of the person that's on the stage that's, it looks like they're controlling everybody and making them do all kinds of crazy things, or like that, the image in the old movies where, that young girl, that ingenue was like being taken under by this, this nefarious hypnotist character. But really, what I kind of like to liken it to is that the people who come to my clinic, they come with an outcome. They want to lose weight, they want to quit smoking, they want to manage their stress, they
Mm.
want to sleep better. They're like, I want this to happen, and they've asked for it, and they come to me, and I teach them how to use their mind, and we use hypnosis to get what they need. But the people who come to
Mhm.
those hypnosis shows, and they come and they watch the show, and then when the hypnotist says, I'm going to invite volunteers up to the show, those people, they run up to the stage and they go, I want this. They're like, I want to be doing silly things. I want to have the hypnotist make me quack like a duck, right? They're asking for it. So when they're on that stage, they're getting their outcome, right? They're getting to have
Yeah.
this really cool experience. They're getting to experience hypnosis. They're getting to like be silly, to let go of their inhibitions, right? And you probably also notice that in those shows, sometimes a hypnotist will send people back to the seats, right? Like they'll keep some people, but they'll tap someone on the shoulder and they'll go back to their seat. And, not everyone gets to stay on the stage. And the people that get sent back, that's okay. It's nothing about them. It's just that, maybe he gave a suggestion that they didn't really like and they didn't want to do it. And if they didn't
Mhm.
want to do it, that's cool, but now they get to go back to their seat. So it really is like, it's always about this reciprocal, collaborative, like, you gotta want it. I can never make anybody do something that they don't want to do. And if they actively don't want to do it, hypnosis is not the answer. Like I have had people come to me before because, maybe their wife got an excellent result and they're like, can you make my husband quit smoking? And then he comes and he's like, I don't want to quit. Like I love cigarettes. They're my best friend. Like, and if he feels that way, I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do. Come back, let me know when you do want to quit. And when you're ready, then hypnosis can help you. So yeah, that's kind of like how I explain how crazy it looks up on the stage, and that those people are really coming along with all that stuff. Yeah.
Totally. And you're touching on the big things like quit smoking, we lose weight, definitely huge pieces of that. What about the things that are not so obvious? So the people that have attachment issues or that have blockages that are preventing them from finding love, from doing the business that they've been wanting to do. What about those guys? Can hypnosis help them as
Yeah.
well?
So those people get awesome results too. And it's funny because oftentimes they come into my clinic because they're going, I don't exactly know what it is that I do need, but I know that I don't want this. I know that I don't want to keep reliving these same, relationship hassles. Like, I had this young guy in my clinic and he was like in his mid 20s and he's been dating but he's always felt like he needed to pretend to be somebody he wasn't so that these girls would like him, right? So he's compromising and he's bending over backwards and he's doing all these things that he thinks is the right move, like that it's going to make them happy, right? But it's not making him happy. And then eventually, the this plays out and he's in resentment now and he's not doing what he was doing at the beginning anymore. And he's like, I can't keep playing this out. Like I can't keep having this happen because it doesn't work for relationships, right? So with hypnosis, he was able to shift the way he was looking at himself, to forgive himself for not needing to be exactly the perfect person that he was imagining he had to be, right? And he was able to embrace his own self-confidence, and through that now he can have way more like real and authentic relationships because he's coming to the table as who he is instead of this version in his own head that he's made up, that he's got ideas that these other people have expectations and he's trying to meet the expectations and there's so much pressure and it's causing him stress, and it comes out all funky, right? And that's just one example of what it could look like. But that kind of thing happens over and over and over again. Like we get these ideas in our head, we put up the walls, and then they play out in very strange ways, right?
Yeah, poor soul. My goodness,
Right.
just a
But
baby.
you know what? He's not a poor soul. He's awesome now because he's in his mid 20s and he dealt with that. And instead
You're
of
right.
being 60 and going, what's happening? I never got a relationship, right? Like I never settled down
Yes.
and had that connection that I was looking for. Now he's like, okay, cool, I'm ready for it. Right.
Yeah, you're
I love
totally
it when
right,
I
of
see
course.
young people coming in because most of the time it is people who are in their 40s or 50s or 60s and they've been kicking the can down the road for long enough that they're like, okay, I'm finally sick of this.
No.
I'm
Yeah,
finally feeling so lonely or so tired or so stressed, that I just need to do something now. And so why wait? Wait, right? Why
totally.
suffer longer than you need to?
What brought you to this world?
Yeah. Well, I was suffering, right? I was highly stressed, and very, rigid and regimented and rulesy, and I was tying my self-worth to like proving and that kind of thing, right? And so that's how it was in elementary school and high school in my early 20s. Like that's just like how it was going, and it was making messes for me. Like it
Mm.
was, making it so that I was an unpleasant friend to be around because I'm like grumpy or bitchy all the time, right? Or it was making it so that I was having problems in relationships, right? Because my stress levels or my pressure, my standards were too high for even myself, and so it was causing all kinds of problems, causing physical health problems, like stress wreaks havoc on your body, right? And so I knew that I needed to do something different. So I actually went to go see a hypnotist, and it 180'd my stress. All of the things that I used to feel like I needed to be righteously angry about, I was like, oh, actually, can let that go. I can live with love and forgiveness and acceptance instead of
Mm.
fear and anger and like, judgment and resentments. So it really did for me make a huge difference in how I was experience life and then interacting in life. And so I went, okay, cool. This is the secret sauce. This is awesome. I want to give this to everybody. And then very quickly went and had my own training and opened my clinics. So I have had this clinic in Vancouver since 2021. So yeah, it's been a little bit of I feel like most people that are in self-help and wellness, they've done something for themselves and they went, okay, cool. I want to give this to everyone.
Totally.
Right? Yeah.
You want to share the secret sauce?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. That's so beautiful, Jessica. I always ask everyone, what's one conscious love to you?
So to me, like it's interesting because a lot of the time, what's happening in my clients' lives and, that's getting in the way of them doing all of the things, from weight loss to sleep, like it
Mhm.
really, it runs the gamut. And the common thread is a lack of faith, and not necessarily religious faith, but just trusting in something beyond yourself, trusting that as you take action in life, that things that, the dominoes will fall where they need to, right? Like that somehow this power that's beyond you will help make sure you get what you need in some way, even if it's not what you want, right?
Yes.
And so for me, it's that connection. It's that literally have like, because in life, we're either operating from fear or we're operating from faith. And faith and love for me are basically interchangeable terms. They're the same thing, right? Because that loving, that open-hearted, that trusting energy is that higher frequency. It's that thing that when you're moving and you're living in that space, that's where the magic happens. That's where the good stuff is, right? And when we're acting from fear or, like scarcity, or like, greediness and all of that, like that's when things don't go the way they really need to. So for me, one conscious love is being literally aware of and tuned into and a part of that faith, that love, that universal energy that connects all of us. That's what it is to me.
Mm, beautiful. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with everyone watching? We're obviously going to put all your links in the comments so it's easy for people to connect with you.
Mhm. Well, I mean, if this, started to resonate with some people, or if it opened a can of worms for them and they went, oh, you know what, that is something that I want to, pull on that thread. Like I said, my clinic's in Vancouver, and of course we'll put all the links, but the first step is always a free screening. I offer an hour of my time for free for the people to come in. And, a lot of people have questions and curiosities and skepticisms about hypnosis. So we really do put it all on the table, let you have an experience with it, get clear about what your outcome is, and then together create a plan for how it would look to use hypnosis to get you there. And so if anyone's curious about that, then I invite them to go ahead and, follow the links that we put below and book in for a free screening and get curious about how you can make that shift in your own life. And yeah, thank you so
That's
much.
super generous and amazing, Jessica. Thank you so much for offering that. I know many will take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, it's so lovely to have you. I'm already looking forward to you being back. We have lots
Yeah.
of events coming up, so I hope you'll be there. You
Mhm.
can also interview again. It's just
Yes.
such a delight to have you.
Excellent. Was one of the, the more comfortable conversations that I've had. I love being in a room with like-minded individuals, people who are on
Mm.
the same wavelength, right? And in the business world, that's not always the case. So this was really a wonderful, warm environment to be hosted in. So thank you so much, Melanie. I look forward to joining you at one of your events soon.
Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Reach out to Jessica. Obviously, your life is going to go up from there, whether it's as a friend or as professional connection. I feel like you could gain a lot from that. Thank you so much for being here, love.
Yes, thank you.
Bye, everyone.